Hello and welcome back to my second chess video. I would just like to take the time to say please take about 5 seconds to just give me a quick rating and a quick one-sentence comment in the box provided there. Just let me know on what I'm doing that you like, what I'm doing that you don't like, so that I can give much better quality videos to you guys. Hopefully that it'll be much more interesting. Any and all feedback is welcome. If you think it sucks, hey, just let me know. Give me a 1-star rating. Tell me what I can do to improve, and I will definitely fix that for you. This video right here is not a very good game. There's mistakes on both sides, but it shows a really good point. You do not want to blockade or surround your king by unnecessary pieces that do not need to be there. Having a good pawn structure in front of your king is a good idea. Having protective pieces in front of your king is a good idea. But you do not want to surround your king and create it immobile and not give your king any retreatable squares to go to or any safe places. This will become much more, you'll be able to see this at the end of the video, so I'll just get right to it. My opponent is playing the white pieces. I'm playing the black. His name is Daff. He's roughly 1355, 150 points below myself. He went e4. I just went to e5. Then he went to h4. This is an undevelopmental move. He's not bringing out any of his main pieces or attacking or / defending the 4 center squares. That's not really considered a good move in the opening. I take advantage and develop my knight to c5. He moves his knight to f3. I push my pawn, protecting my e5 pawn and my bishop. Then he goes to a3, another not considered very good move in the beginning. He has better moves. He can develop his bishops and knights in the back row, get him out here, start attacking, defending the center. Basically, the reason why he did this is probably because this is a prep move to move his pawn to the b4 square, or he's going to use this as a defending move and move his knight to c3 so that my bishop can't just easily come into b4 and then swap those two pieces. He has a protective square here, so that's probably why he did that. So I decided to go on the offensive, bring my bishop out, and now I am pinning the knight to f3 because if he moves the knight, I gain his queen. He breaks the pin by moving his bishop to e2. I develop my knight to c6. Then he brings out his b4 pawn, attacking my bishop. I decide to deal with this threat a little bit later. I decide to swap pieces first. I take his knight. He retaliates by taking my bishop. This was my first mistake. It was a mistake because, sure, it was an even trade, a 3-point knight for a 3-point bishop, but he is in a better positional area here because, sure, I swapped pieces, but now his bishop is on the f3 square protecting his e4 pawn, and his bishop is out here and can do damage. I haven't done anything. I haven't accomplished any advancement or positional advantage, so this was not a good move. Then, yes, I do my second mistake. I move my bishop to d4. Sure, this is looks like a decent move. I'm attacking the naked a rook over here, but he can easily refute that with pawn to c3, kicking my bishop back, and now he has all of his pawns connected. So now I have to move my bishop back to the only safe square of b6. So this should have been my first move. I should have went to b6 instead of d4 and then being pushed back to b6. He moves his pawn to a4. This is a good move, and I'm going to show you why right now, because if I don't take care of this situation, I'm going to lose my bishop. If, let's say, I don't do anything over here, let's say I just develop my knight to f6, he pushes his pawns, all of his pawns are protected, and I just lost my bishop. All these squares right here, these are the only squares my bishop can go to, and they are all protected by his pawns, so I'm going to lose my bishop. The only good move, or the best move in this horrible position would be to just take the f2 square, gaining a pawn. Sure, I lose my bishop, but hey, you know, his king had to take it. He can't castle now. But this is a horrible position for myself because I lost a bishop, only gained a pawn, And his king really isn't in a bad position. He can move his rook over, slink back to g1 and be fine. And I'm down a full piece now. So that's why I avoided this pawn situation right here, and why that was a good move. I just went to a5, stopping that. He pushed his pawn, attacking my knight, so I moved my knight. He brought his queen out to b3, developing it, attacking this f7 square, making his queen active. I developed my knight to f6. He pushed his pawn. He's maybe trying to think about doing something in the center. And hey, I want to open up this center. I want to be able to do something. I want to be active. I want to be aggressively pursuing a plan. So I want to open up the center. I've moved my pawn to d5, forcing him to take it, or I'm going to take it next turn, or do something so that I can open up this center. He decides to ignore the center and move his bishop to g5. Sure, he can take my knight, which is under attack. If he takes it, I have to take back with my pawn, developing a doubled pawn, which I don't like. But hey, this seems just much more advantageous to myself at the moment. So I'm going to try and mess with the center first. I take his e-pawn with my d-pawn. His d-pawn retaliates and takes my e-pawn. I accomplish my goal. My queen is on the only open file, and it is the dominant piece on that file. It is attacking every single square. I accomplish my goal. So now I further develop my bishop. I get it out of this corner, so now it is on this diagonal and this diagonal. It has a little bit more room to breathe and maybe do something. He decides to swap. He takes my knight. My pawn takes the bishop back. Yeah, I have the doubled pawns, but hey, I accomplished my goal over here. I'm the dominant piece on this only open file, and this isn't causing me immediate problems. So this is okay. It's just, not, a great position. He moves his bishop down, and he is threatening check on f7 with his queen next move, so I have to deal with this. I move my knight out to g6, blocking this, and I don't care if he swaps. Him swapping would do me more of a favor than himself. Here, let's see what happens. Let's say he swaps. He takes my knight. I will take back with my pawn. Now look, I have moved my pawn out, and I don't have a doubled pawn. It was an even exchange, and I gained my non-doubled pawn structure. What has he gained? Nothing. He has just swapped pieces. So this would be a good move for him because it helps me out in the long run. Instead, he goes rook to f1. This is an extremely awkward move, and I will tell you why. If he wanted to move to f1, which he did, he should have castled. Castling would have protected his king. Sure, this pawn is out, it's a little bit open, but I don't have any immediate pieces attacking in this general vicinity, and it will take me a little while to get pieces over there. So he should have castled, getting the rook to f1, giving the rook space over here, and protecting his king. Instead, he went rook f1, and now his king is up against this little wall here. I decided to try and do something about that. I moved my queen to d3, getting really close to the king, trying to cause some problems down here. He develops his knight to d2. He's possibly going to go to c4 and try and start playing over here and attack. I castled. I strategically got my king in a safe position over here behind the pawns next to the rook, and my rook is on the d file, connecting my rook and my queen. So now he decides to go to d1, which blocks my checkmate move, because this threatens checkmate in one move. If I take his knight, it's checkmate. So he blocks that. And now his king is surrounded by 4 pieces out of 5 squares. And this square is under attack by my queen. So he is surrounded by his own pieces, making his king immobile. His king can't move anywhere. So I decided to make a plan to exploit that fact. I moved my knight to f4, attacking the undefended bishop and attacking this e2 square. He puts his bishop out of harm's way to f3. And this is exactly what I wanted. There is a forced 2-move checkmate in this position. If you would like to pause the video and see what the 2 moves are, please do so now. All right, the correct first move is queen to e2. You may say this is a really weird move. He can just take with his bishop. Well, his king can't move anywhere. It's surrounded by these pieces. He can't move anywhere, so he has to deal with the check, and he has to take with a piece. The only possible move to get out of this check is bishop takes on e2. Now, why would I do that? Well, look at this. His king has 5 squares around him. Every single square has a piece on it. His king cannot possibly move anywhere. What is the next move? Yes, g2. Knight takes g2, checkmate. His king is surrounded. It can't move anywhere, and he doesn't have any piece that can take on this knight, but yet it's under attack. Therefore, checkmate. I thought that this was an extremely interesting endgame situation. I hope that you enjoyed it, and please let me know what you thought about the video.